My mother's invitation landed in my mailbox on a Tuesday morning, and the second I read it, my blood ran cold. Family dinner. Sunday. 6 p.m. Just immediate family, keep it small and personal. Translation: come without him. Come without the man I chose over her approval. Come crawling back so she can finally say, I told you so. My name is Maya, and I'm 29 years old. For the past 4 years, I've been married to Ethan, a man my mother has despised from the moment I brought him home. He wasn't from her social circle. He didn't have a trust fund. He was a graphic designer working freelance from our apartment. In her eyes, he was a failure waiting to happen. But I loved him fiercely. Or at least, I did until everything shattered. The truth revealed itself on an ordinary Saturday afternoon while I was reorganizing our closet. Nothing dramatic. No gut feeling. Just a regular weekend chore that turned my entire world upside down. I was sorting through Ethan's jackets when something fell from the inside pocket of his leather coat, a small, folded piece of paper. Hotel receipt. The Grandview Hotel. Room 412. Charged to his credit card. Date: 3 weeks ago. The same weekend he told me he was visiting his college roommate in Sacramento. My hands went numb. I sat down on the bedroom floor, staring at that receipt like it might suddenly explain itself. $240 for one night. Checkout time, 11 a.m. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I simply stood up, walked to his laptop on the desk, and opened it. He never logged out of anything: Gmail, Facebook, credit card statements. He trusted me completely. What an idiot. His email loaded. I typed Grandview Hotel into the search bar. Confirmation emails. 4 of them. For different weekends over the past 3 months. All charged to the card I thought he only used for work expenses. All during times he claimed to be meeting clients or visiting friends. My heart hammered against my ribs, but my mind stayed eerily calm. I took screenshots of everything. Saved them to a folder on my phone. Then I went deeper. I opened his text messages on the laptop, they synced with his phone automatically. I scrolled back through weeks of conversations until I found what I was looking for. Her name was Isabel. Not some random stranger. Not some meaningless fling. Isabel. My former college roommate. The girl who stood beside me at our wedding as a bridesmaid. The woman who cried happy tears during my vows. The messages made me physically sick. Last night was incredible. You make me feel alive. Isabel. Can't stop thinking about you. When can I see you again? Ethan. Your wife suspects nothing, right? Isabel. Maya's clueless. She's too busy with her mother's drama to notice anything. Ethan. That last message hit me like a punch to the throat. Too busy with my mother's drama. He'd weaponized my pain. Used my complicated relationship with my mom as cover for his betrayal. I sat there for what felt like hours, reading months of their conversations. The planning. The lies. The intimate details I never wanted to know. They'd been together since January. 8 months. 2/3 of a year. When Ethan came home that evening carrying Thai takeout and wearing that easy smile, I almost admired his acting skills. Hey, babe. Got your favorite, pad thai with extra peanuts. He kissed my forehead like nothing was wrong. Like he hadn't spent the previous night texting another woman. Thanks, I said, my voice surprisingly steady. How was your day? Exhausting. Client revisions are killing me. He slumped onto the couch, loosening his tie. How about you? Productive, I replied, setting the table. Very productive, actually. We ate dinner like a normal couple. He told me about his projects. I nodded in all the right places. Inside, I was screaming. Outside, I was performing. After dinner, he went to take a shower. The moment I heard the water running, I grabbed his phone from the counter. I knew his passcode. It was my birthday, ironically enough. I opened it and started forwarding messages. Every single conversation with Isabel went straight to my email address. Photos too. Everything. When he emerged from the bathroom 20 minutes later, I was sitting on the couch watching Netflix, looking completely relaxed. "Want to watch a movie?" he asked, sitting beside me. "Sure," I said. "You pick." He had no idea what was coming. None at all. The next morning, while Ethan was meeting a client, or so he claimed, I made my move. First call, attorney. Second call, locksmith. Third call, my best friend Rachel, who worked in forensic accounting. "Rachel, I need your help," I said. "I need to know exactly what Ethan's been spending money on for the past year." "Say no more," she replied. "Send me access to the bank statements." Within 3 hours, she sent me a detailed breakdown. Thousands of dollars spent on hotels, restaurants, gifts, and weekend trips. Money that came from our joint savings account, the account I'd been contributing to from my salary as a marketing manager while he claimed his freelance income was irregular. Turns out, his income wasn't irregular at all. He'd been making nearly as much as me but hiding it in a separate account I didn't know existed. An account he shared with Isabel. My lawyer, a sharp woman named Patricia who'd handled my coworker's divorce, looked at the evidence and smiled grimly. "Oh, we're going to destroy him." "Music to my ears," I replied. But I wasn't ready to confront him yet. I needed more. I needed complete control of the situation. For the next 2 weeks, I played the perfect wife. Cooked his favorite meals. Laughed at his jokes. Made love to him when he initiated, even though it made my skin crawl. The entire time, I was documenting everything, installing tracking software on his phone when he wasn't looking, screenshotting every bank transaction, recording phone conversations. He thought everything was perfect. He texted Isabel, "I think Maya's finally given up on her mother's approval. She's been so happy lately." Isabel replied, "Good. Makes our life easier. When are you going to tell her about us?" "Ethan, soon. After the holidays. I don't want to ruin her year-end bonus, we need that money for our future." Our future. They were planning a future. With my money. That's when I knew exactly what I had to do. I called Isabel on a Thursday afternoon. She answered cheerfully. "Maya! Oh my God, it's been forever." "I know, right? I've been so busy." "Hey, I'm planning a surprise anniversary party for Ethan next month. Would you help me organize it? You always were the best at party planning." Silence. Then, carefully, "An anniversary party?" "Yeah, for years." "Can you believe it? I was thinking we could do it at that new rooftop venue downtown. You know, invite all our friends. Make it special." "Maya, I don't think." "Oh, come on. You're my oldest friend. I need you there. Please?" She couldn't say no without raising suspicion. "Okay. Yeah. I'll help." "Perfect. Let's meet this Saturday for coffee. I'll bring my ideas." Saturday arrived. I met Isabel at the cafe we used to frequent in college. She looked nervous, playing with her coffee cup, avoiding eye contact. So, I began, pulling out my notebook. I was thinking we'd do a slideshow. You know, photos of Ethan and me through the years. Our wedding. Our honeymoons. All our happy moments. She shifted uncomfortably. That sounds nice. It does, doesn't it? I smiled warmly. Then I leaned forward, my voice dropping. But here's the problem, Isabel. I can't find any photos from the past 8 months where Ethan looks genuinely happy with me. No, why? Her face drained of color. Because for the past 8 months, he's been pretending to love me while actually being in love with you. Maya, I can explain. Explain what? How you slept with my husband. How you betrayed our friendship. How you laughed about me being clueless in your text messages. Tears started streaming down her face. I never meant to hurt you. But you did. Repeatedly. Deliberately. I pulled out my phone and showed her the screenshots. I have everything. Every message. Every hotel receipt. Every lie. And unless you do exactly what I say, everyone in your life will see them too. She stared at me in horror. What do you want? First, you're going to keep seeing Ethan. Act normal. Don't tell him about this conversation. Second, when I'm ready, you're going to help me expose him in the most public, humiliating way possible. And third, you're going to testify in my divorce proceedings about the affair and the hidden bank account. Why would I do that? I smiled coldly. Because if you don't, I'll send these messages to your employer. You're a high school counselor, right? Wonder how your principal would feel knowing you're the kind of person who betrays her friends and lies for sport. Might be a fireable offense, don't you think? She covered her face with her hands. Oh God. You made your choice, I said, standing up. Now you get to live with the consequences. I'll be in touch. I left her sitting there, sobbing into her coffee. Did I feel guilty? Not even a little bit. 2 days later, Patricia filed the divorce papers. But I didn't serve them to Ethan yet. I had one more move to make. Remember my mother's dinner invitation? The one where she wanted me to come alone so she could gloat about my failing marriage? Well, I decided to accept. With a twist. I texted her, I'll be there Sunday at 6. And yes, I'm bringing someone. Someone you need to meet. She called immediately. Maya, I said, family only. This person is practically family, Mom. Trust me, you'll want them there. Who is it? Surprise, I said sweetly, and hung up. Sunday evening came. I dressed in a stunning emerald dress that I knew would make me look confident and powerful. I did my makeup carefully, not like someone who'd been crying for weeks, but like someone who'd already won. At 5:45, I texted Isabel, meet me at my mother's house. Now. Don't be late. She showed up looking terrified, parking her car behind mine in the driveway. Maya, please don't do this, she begged as we walked to the door. Too late for that, I replied. I rang the doorbell. My mother opened it, her face already arranged in that condescending smile she reserved for me, until she saw Isabel standing beside me. Isabel? She looked confused. What are you doing here? Hi, Mrs. Bennet, Isabel said weakly. My mother looked between us, her confusion deepening. Maya, what's going on? Well, Mom, you've been telling me for 4 years that Ethan wasn't good enough for me. That I made a mistake marrying him. That he'd eventually show his true colors. I stepped inside, pulling Isabel with me. Turns out, you were right. What are you talking about? Ethan's been having an affair. For 8 months. And you'll never guess who with. Understanding dawned on my mother's face as she looked at Isabel. No. Yes, I said. Isabel. My former best friend. My bridesmaid. The girl who helped me pick out my wedding dress. She's been sleeping with my husband. My mother's face turned to stone. She'd always liked Isabel, had always praised her for being accomplished and well-mannered. Now she was looking at her like she was garbage. How dare you, my mother said, her voice shaking with rage. How dare you come into my home after what you've done? Isabel started crying again. I'm sorry, Mrs. Bennet. I never wanted. Get out, my mother said coldly. Get out of my house right now. But I put a hand on Isabel's arm, stopping her. Actually, she's not leaving yet. She has something to tell you first. Don't you, Isabel? Isabel looked at me with pure fear. I raised my eyebrows, waiting. Ethan and we have a shared bank account, she whispered. With money that came from Maya's savings. My mother's eyes went wide. They stole from you? Not stole exactly. Ethan just diverted funds that I thought were going into our joint savings. Thousands of dollars. Money I earned. Money that was supposed to be for our future. He's been using it to fund his relationship with her. That's theft, my mother said. That's absolutely theft. It is, I agreed. And it's all going to come out in the divorce proceedings. Along with every detail of their affair. Every hotel visit. Every lie. Everything. My mother turned to me, and for the first time in years, I saw something in her face I'd never seen before: respect. You documented everything, she said. Every single thing. And you have a good lawyer? The best. She nodded slowly. Then she turned back to Isabel. Now you can leave. And if I ever see you near my daughter again, I'll make sure everyone in this city knows exactly what kind of person you are. Isabel practically ran from the house. I heard her car start and speed away. My mother closed the door and turned to me. We stood there in silence for a moment. You want me to say I told you so, don't you? She finally asked. Don't you want to? No, she said quietly. I wanted to be wrong about him, Maya. I really did. I never wanted you to be hurt like this. But you were right. He wasn't good enough. Just not for the reasons you thought. She nodded. What happens now? Now he loses everything, I said simply. The apartment is in my name, I bought it before we got married. The car is mine. Most of our furniture is mine. He contributed almost nothing to our life together except lies and betrayal. And thanks to the evidence I have, he'll walk away with nothing but his guilt and his mistress. Good, my mother said fiercely. That's exactly what he deserves. We had dinner that night, just the two of us. We didn't talk about Ethan much. Instead, we talked about my job, my plans, my future. And for the first time in my adult life, my mother listened without trying to control the conversation. I'm sorry I pushed you so hard, she said over dessert. I thought I was protecting you. I thought if I could just make you see that you deserved better, you'd leave him before he could hurt you. But all I did was push you away. You did push me away, I admitted. But Mom, even if you'd been supportive, he still would have cheated. That's not about you or me. That's about him being a terrible person. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. You're stronger than I ever gave you credit for. I learned from the best, I said. You might be controlling and difficult, but you never let anyone walk all over you. I guess I inherited that. She smiled, a real smile, not the tight, disapproving one I was used to. What are you going to do when this is all over? Live, I said simply. Really live. Without apologizing for my choices or seeking anyone's approval. Just live. The divorce went to court 6 weeks later. Ethan showed up with a cheap lawyer who was clearly out of his depth. I showed up with Patricia and a folder of evidence so damning that the judge actually winced while reviewing it. Ethan tried to argue for half of everything. Patricia demolished that argument in under 5 minutes. Your Honor, Mr. Reed contributed minimal financial support to the household. The apartment was purchased by my client before the marriage. The furnishings were purchased by my client. The savings account that Mr. Reed claimed was joint was funded 90% by my client's salary, while Mr. Reed diverted his income into a secret account shared with his mistress. The judge turned to Ethan. Is this true? Ethan's lawyer started to speak, but the judge held up a hand. I asked your client, counselor. Ethan's face was red. I have the right to spend my money however I want. You have the right to be honest with your spouse about shared finances, the judge said coldly. You don't have the right to commit financial infidelity while benefiting from your wife's earnings. Mrs. Reed keeps all property acquired before and during the marriage. Mr. Reed leaves with what he brought into it, which, according to these documents, was next to nothing. Furthermore, Mr. Reed will pay spousal support for 18 months and cover all legal fees for this proceeding. Ethan looked like he'd been punched. That's not fair. Neither was lying to your wife for 8 months, the judge said. Court dismissed. Walking out of that courthouse was the most liberating moment of my life. Ethan tried to approach me in the parking lot, but Patricia stepped between us. You don't get to talk to her anymore, she said firmly. All communication goes through me now. Maya, please, he said, trying to look around her. Can we just talk? I made a mistake. 8 months of mistakes, I said, finally looking at him. Hundreds of lies. Thousands of dollars stolen. That's not a mistake, Ethan. That's a choice. Multiple choices. And now you get to live with the consequences. I loved you, he said desperately. No, you didn't. You loved what I provided. Stability. Money. A cover story while you played house with Isabel. But you never loved me. And honestly, I don't think you're capable of loving anyone but yourself. I walked away and didn't look back. The next few months were strange. Quiet. Empty in some ways, but also lighter, like I'd been carrying a weight I didn't even realize was there. I threw myself into work. Got promoted to senior marketing director. Started traveling for conferences. Met new people. Made new friends. Slowly rebuilt a life that was entirely mine. My mother and I started having brunch every other Sunday. She was different now, softer, more careful with her words. We'd never have a perfect relationship, but we had an honest one. And that was something. 6 months after the divorce was finalized, I ran into Ethan at a grocery store. He looked awful, tired, older, defeated. He was alone, pushing a cart with the kind of sad bachelor groceries that speak volumes: frozen dinners, cheap beer, instant ramen. Maya, he said when he saw me. You look great. Thanks, I said neutrally. I genuinely felt nothing looking at him. Not anger, not sadness, not satisfaction. Just nothing. I heard you got promoted, he continued awkwardly. That's amazing. It is, I agreed. I'm sorry, he blurted out. For everything. I was an idiot. I threw away the best thing in my life for someone who didn't even, he stopped himself. Didn't even what? I asked, curious despite myself. Isabel left me, he admitted. 2 months ago. Said she couldn't handle the guilt. Now I'm alone and I. He laughed bitterly. I destroyed everything for nothing. I should have felt vindicated. Instead, I just felt sad, not for him, but for the years I'd wasted. I hope you figure your life out, Ethan, I said. I really do. But that's not my problem anymore. I walked away from him for the second and final time. And this time, I felt nothing but relief. A year after my divorce, I was thriving. My career was soaring. I'd started a side business as a marketing consultant. I'd traveled to 5 countries. I'd learned to salsa dance. I'd adopted a dog named Justice. Yes, I named my dog Justice because I'm petty like that. I even started dating again. Nothing serious yet, but I was open to possibilities in a way I'd never been before. One evening, I was at a networking event when someone tapped my shoulder. I turned around and found myself face to face with Isabel. She looked different. Thinner. Older. Worn down by guilt, probably. Maya, she said quietly. Can we talk? Please? Part of me wanted to walk away. But part of me was curious. 5 minutes, I said. We stepped outside onto the venue's terrace. She took a deep breath. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, she began. I know what I did was unforgivable. But I wanted you to know that I'm sorry. Truly, deeply sorry. I destroyed our friendship for someone who wasn't worth it. I helped him steal from you. I lied to you for months. And I've had to live with that guilt every single day. Good, I said simply. She flinched. I'm in therapy now. Trying to figure out why I did what I did. Trying to become a better person. That's great, Isabel. Genuinely. But that has nothing to do with me. I know. I wanted you to know that you didn't deserve any of it. It wasn't about you. It was about my own brokenness. I know that, I said. I figured that out a long time ago. This was never about me not being enough. It was about you and Ethan being broken people who made broken choices. She nodded, tears streaming down her face. Can you ever forgive me? I thought about it for a moment. Really thought about it. Maybe someday, I said honestly. But not today. Not anytime soon. What you did, it broke something in me. And I've spent a year putting myself back together. I'm not going to undo that work by pretending we can go back to being friends. I understand, she whispered. I hope you get better, Isabel. I hope therapy helps you. But I hope those things for your sake, not mine. Because I don't need anything from you anymore. Not apologies, not explanations, not closure. I found all of that on my own. I walked back inside, leaving her on the terrace. And unlike with Ethan, I did feel something this time, satisfaction. Not because she was suffering, but because I'd reached a place where her suffering didn't matter to me anymore. That's real healing. Not forgiveness. Not revenge. Just complete and total indifference. Today, I'm 30 years old. I own a beautiful condo with a view of the city. I have a career I love. I have friends who actually value me. I have a mother who finally respects me. I have a life that's entirely mine, built on my terms, without compromise. Sometimes people ask me if I regret how I handled everything. If I think I was too harsh. Too calculated. Too cold. My answer is always the same: I have zero regrets. I protected myself when no one else would. I fought for what was mine when everyone expected me to roll over. I refused to be a victim. Could I have handled it differently? Sure. I could have confronted Ethan immediately. I could have had a civilized conversation. I could have split things fairly and walked away quietly. But where's the justice in that? Where's the accountability? Why should I have made things easy for people who made my life hell? Ethan didn't just cheat. He stole from me. He lied to me. He used my pain as a cover for his betrayal. He deserved to lose everything. Isabel didn't just betray our friendship. She actively helped him deceive me. She laughed about my ignorance. She deserved to be exposed. And my mother, well, she needed to see the real consequences of her judgment. Needed to understand that sometimes being right doesn't feel as good as she thinks it will. I'm not a perfect person. I'm not claiming moral high ground. But I'm someone who knows her worth now. Someone who won't accept crumbs from people who should be giving her the whole damn cake. Ethan thought he'd trade up. Thought Isabel was a better option. Thought I'd fall apart without him. He was wrong on every count. My mother thought she'd get to say "I told you so" and watch me come crawling back. Instead, she got a daughter who stood up for herself and demanded respect. They both underestimated me. Everyone did. And you know what's funny? The best revenge wasn't destroying Ethan in court or exposing Isabel at my mother's dinner. The best revenge has been living a life so fulfilling, so successful, so genuinely happy that their presence in it would only drag it down. I win not because I hurt them, but because I built something beautiful from the ashes they created. So to anyone reading this who's been betrayed, who's been underestimated, who's been told they're not enough, hear this: you are enough. More than enough. And the people who can't see that don't deserve access to your life. Fight for yourself. Protect yourself. Build something so amazing that the people who hurt you become nothing more than footnotes in your success story. Ethan thought he broke me when he cheated. Isabel thought she won when she stole my husband. My mother thought she knew best when she judged my choices. They were all wrong. I wasn't broken. I was being rebuilt into something stronger, fiercer, unstoppable. And that? That is the revenge they never saw coming.